Day Dawns ARKS! Welcome everyone to your weekly Phantasy Star Online 2 podcast, recorded live on April 11th, 2020. I'm one of your hosts, PrinceBrightstar, and with me is Zance. Go ahead and say hello.
Hello! How's it going, everyone?
So, before we get started today, we do have a special announcement. We have been notified that Windsock is temporarily stepping away from the show due to being on call with their job during the weekends due to the current world situation. We wish him the best until they are able to return to the show.
Yep, and I decided to not use webcam today, so that's why you just have a picture of my character.
Yep. Before we get into today's topics, Zance, how was your gaming week? What have you been up to?
Speedrunning. I've been speedrunning the first Final Fantasy, specifically the PSP version. I'm mostly trying to de-rust because it's been a while since I did one, and so far my best time since coming back to it has been an hour 31. Still not my personal best, but what can you do with terrible RNG? But other than that, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I saw what happened earlier. That was definitely bad luck. What happened to you there?
Yes, first encounter in Cavern of Ice. I get ambushed. My entire party gets petrified. No inputs from me. Just game decided. Nope, your run's dead. Screw you. But other than that, I started playing Final Fantasy 7. Not the remake, the original. And not the demake. Funny thing, I was actually, I tuned into High Spirits after I was done streaming Final Fantasy 7, and I thought he was playing the remake. Nope, he was playing the demake. Do you know about that demake?
I think I saw Pro Jared do an April Fool's joke on it.
Yes, that video was hilarious. But yeah, I knew about the demake beforehand, for a while actually. It was it's interesting. It's the entire game. They demade all of it. So, but it is just painful to play through because of how slow it is. And the music is just grating. But what?
That's kind of what it's like back then. I mean, music has gotten so much more complicated than the 4 instruments you used to have back in those days.
Oh yeah, but if you were talented enough, you could make some really good things off of the NES or SNES sound chip. Just look at the Fallen Brothers. Any of the games that they did the soundtrack on were just phenomenal.
Yep, and even looking further back, technically the Commodore 64 had some really great music coming out of it. Mm-hmm. So, no, I completely agree. You had to have the right kind of skills to make music work back in the day, but it was also challenging because you were limited on the number of instruments that you had, and the PlayStation 1 Final Fantasy 7 had a lot more going on than just 4 instruments.
A lot of it modified compared to 8 and 9. But yeah, it still holds up a lot better compared to some NES. But again, Fallen Brothers music on the NES was just so good. Look up Silver Surfer Stage 1. So good. But yeah, I haven't been playing much of PSO on North America, and I'll be talking about why once we get to talking about our last topic.
Gotcha.
I have my main character at 75. I have all my other. I bought another character, so I still need to get them up to 50. I'm just debating on what I want to level on them. I started leveling Summoner, but I'm not sure if I want to keep on that or switch to Gunner now after watching GM Custom play Gunner. I don't know. I'm still deciding on it. So what have you been up to?
So, this past week has actually been kind of quiet for me in terms of gaming, largely due to my job. But I found every now and then some time to hop onto PSO2 North American version. I'm now at the point of having 330 titles through everything I've been working on. So I'm almost 100 past the point of where they expected a lot of players to be at with the Whittle Wings. And I'm actually starting to get to the point where I am running out of a lot of the easier ones to do. So, for example, at this point, I've got like just like the titles available for leveling up still available to me. I need to get like 15 rings to +5. I could go into the story again, take out Profound Darkness and Apprentice several more times to get 2 titles. And then after that point, then we really start to dive into the really nitty-gritty ones, like running 100 missions with NPCs. I finished that with Xeno and Echo at this point, and trying to work through the rest of them. The fastest way to do that, of course, is to run through the Subdue Udan one over and over and over, but that's still...
Subdue Udan. I always did a Navrabi capture.
So, my thought with that is that you have to run through 2 different areas to do that one. Well, Subdue Udan is just a single area.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, that's part of why it makes it the quickest one to do it, because you don't have to trek through 2 different maps.
Huh.
And then, of course, keep getting 15 rings up to +10 and then to +20. +20 is going to take forever, because I need to also level rings up to do that. And then, of course, there's all the casino-based titles that you can get, which are basically RNG-based.
Yep.
In terms of
By the way, you got your darts achievement?
My which achievement?
Darts.
Oh, I've been at 1,000 gamer score for weeks now.
Oh, okay. How many attempts did it take you for your darts achievement? Because I had one person who, first throw, they got a triple 20.
I think I got mine in like 15 minutes or so. Well, it wasn't that bad. I have heard horror stories of it taking hours, though.
Didn't take me that long to get mine. I was just chatting with people while casually doing it, and I just suddenly got it.
And aside from PSO2, given that I am starting to kind of get at that point where I'm running out of the titles that I can get, where I'm starting to more get into the nitty-gritty of the long-term titles and such. I took a break a little bit here, and earlier today I was actually playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. And
by the way, how do you like it so far?
I'm loving it. They've done a ton to really expand the world. There are some glitches we're coming across, like for example, Tifa's door never loads up. And I mean, I'm familiar enough with the story, having played it originally back in '97, to know what's going to be coming in the near future regarding that area. But it's still interesting to see that Square Enix did expand the game that far. We'll
just
have to
sucks
see.
That there's nothing outside of Midgar yet, so we can't do the golden saucer.
Right. The game effectively ends as you reach the end of the bike chase.
Yep, that's when you leave Midgar.
Yep.
Which in the original game is, depending on how fast you do it, it can be between like 3 to 5 hours.
Yep. I am about to do the second Mako reactor, and I am about 7 hours in at this point.
Yeah, because in the original, the second Mako reactor is not even an hour in.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of side content that was added. They added in new characters, actually.
Oh.
And an entirely new mission that takes place between the first and second Mako reactor.
Interesting. But you still have that interaction with Aerith where you buy a flower for her, right? From her, right?
Yep, you have that one, but there's also a lot of ghostly creatures around, and an early appearance by a certain someone with a very long sword.
Whoa, Sephiroth showing up that early, Jesus.
So it's interesting to see just how they've changed the game. The chase through the original sequence has also changed somewhat.
Like, I did play the demo, so I know about how long the first Mako reactor takes. That takes about an hour to do.
Yep.
Compared to the original, which is only, what, 20 minutes?
Exactly. And when I did my playthrough of the remake demo, I opened it up originally with the Final Fantasy VII original demo, which came as a disc package with Tobal number 1. So,
wow.
And in that demo, you had Aerith with you.
Interesting.
Yep. So it's Square Enix has changed a lot of stuff. I'm loving what they've done with the world. I'm loving the fact that you can actually see when you're down in the slums that you actually are able to see the sunlight. That was a huge shock when I saw that, but I love the look of things. But yeah, that pretty much after the stream, I pretty much got on a call with you, and we started prepping for today's show here.
Okay. Yeah, I'll eventually get around to getting Remake, but I need to play through the original first. The farthest I've gotten in any other playthrough is the Shinra building. I'm pathetic.
Did you take the elevator or did you take the stairs?
I took the stairs.
It's going to be interesting.
The conversation when you're running up the stairs is hilarious.
I know. I'll be looking forward to that as well on this playthrough here once I get up to that point.
Mm-hmm. Gotta take the stairs each time.
Yeah. Alright, so with all that, why don't we go ahead and move into our first topic today, which is talking about the weapon badges.
They give you all class weapons. They're good.
So we actually have 2 articles that Sega posted this week. The first is a guide to unique weapon badges. Be on the lookout, ARKS, for Rappies, or other enemies of another color or other unusual appearance trait. They have something unique to offer operatives, in that unique weapon badges will drop from these rare enemies.
Yeah, specifically the rare version of Rappies. The cute ones, not the Rab Rappies.
Correct. The planetary Rappy, Nab Rappy, does not drop these. Dispatching them will net you not only the pleasure of a rare find, but also the satisfaction that comes from receiving unique weapon badges, as they can be traded for significant upgrades.
Now, another way that people have been getting these unique weapon badges is through the Crawler's Nest Urgent Quest.
Cradle of Darkness?
Yeah, Cradle of Darkness, that's it.
Yep, and that's because a lot of the Nero-type Darkers, or Nero-type Fallspawn, rather, will show up in there.
Yep. So that's why, like, you get a PSC burst in that, you just get a stupid amount of weapon badges that way.
Yep, it's definitely recommended to run that as many times as you can. If you can get the PSC burst, that's even better, because then you pretty much get a free 13-star weapon from that. Or if you're trying to get a 13-star weapon up to plus 35, then you can put the extra badges towards that. So, Badge and Merchant Exchanger Nanon has some very special weapons to offer for certain quantities of unique weapon badges. She can be located on the 2nd floor of the shopping plaza. So, as you're doing your best to complete assigned quests, make sure to keep an eye out for unusual-looking enemies, as they could be instrumental in receiving your next weapon upgrade. Stay sharp, operatives. The one thing I will also note is I've noticed that whenever you defeat just a regular rare enemy like this, you're going to get one of those badges. Whenever you defeat a boss rare enemy, that's typically going to give you between 2 to 3 badges, I've found. Yeah,
I've seen that as well. But also take note that all of these weapons that you get from these, that you can get from these badges, they require dex to equip.
Correct.
So if you have a dex mag like I do, since I am a bouncer main, then you'll have no problem equipping any of these weapons. But good luck if you're not a character that uses dex a lot, because you're not going to be able to equip that until much higher levels.
Correct. That is definitely the case. Bouncers and Bravers, because they are dex-based for their mags, they get access to these a lot earlier. Alright, and then aside from that...
But also another thing to mention about these weapons, they're not best in slot. If you want best in slot weapons, I don't know, what are current best in slots? I know for Force and Ranger, it's the Psycho Wand and the... what's the other one? The Elder Rifle?
Yep, and
those
then you've also got all those...
slot because of their potential.
Yeah, and then you've also got Revolutio weapons, which are hanging around. You're not able to fully upgrade them currently because arena boosters are not in the game yet. But once they are, you'll have some very, very powerful weapons, because those are weapon potentials that were added in Episode 4.
Mm-hmm. But if you want to do the other upgrade option at the moment, so you have a plus 30 or plus 35 13 star to use, do that, and then get another one just so you can upgrade that once arena boosters are in the game.
Yep, it kind of makes you wonder though if we're going to be getting the source of those in once the game releases, which happens to be the game's PvP mode, or battle mode as it's called.
I want the PvP mode so badly right now. Like, I never thought I would actually say that I want the PvP mode.
I'm in agreement there, and for me, it's more the rewards that come out of it. So I'm looking forward to getting the red aura for the plus 90 attack bonus.
Yeah, and the other big thing is, like, it just gives me more things to do in NA. Because right now I'm finding not that much to do in the North American version compared to the JP version right now.
Yep,
but
the
again,
Japanese...
we can talk about that at our last topic.
Yep, definitely. Alright, so along with this one, we also have a guide to Rising Weapon Badges. Do you want to take this one, Xantz?
Sure thing. Looking for a new way to acquire better gear in PSO2? Discover the Rising Weapon Badges system by reading through this quick explanation. Sometimes, no matter how much you hope an item upgrade will drop for you, it just doesn't seem to be in the cards. With this in mind, ARKS has implemented a system that allows operatives to passively earn Rising Weapon Badges while they are out on quest. Now, all of these Rising Weapon Badges, they give Nox weapons. So these are 12-star weapons again, but they are better than the 12-star all-class weapons that drop all the time for me.
The Sigma weapons.
Yeah, the Sigma weapons. Now, don't get me wrong, having the Sigma all-class weapons are nice, especially all-class jet boots, but you don't need all-class on every single weapon. These can be exchanged in the shopping plaza for various elite items. After all, ARKS wants to make sure you're well equipped in the fight against the Fall Spawn. Rising Weapon Badges are awarded via certain tiers in the Mission Pass. For more information on the Mission Pass, please see this article. In addition, the newly released Urgent Quest Elder of the Infathomable Abyss will include drops of Rising Weapon Badges. Take your badges to... that's cut off for me on the stream. Yeah, just scroll up. Yeah, there we go. Take your badges to Badge and Memory Exchange Nanan, who is located on the second floor of the shopping plaza. She has a multitude of weaponry available in exchange for badges, so you're able to deliver destruction to the Fall Spawn with the armament of your choice. For those who save in sufficient supply, there may even be a unit set to further power your pursuit of the Fall Spawn. Be sure to redeem your Rising Weapon Badges, ARKS. Now, those units that are there, they're actually pretty decent units. Not the best, again, the Psyche units are better, but hey, if your luck for Psyche units are garbage, or you just don't want to spend the Meseta to buy it off a player shop, then you can get those units.
Yep. Plus, if you don't, plus it can be kind of RNG based if you happen to get the drop for them as well. Since they only drop off the they drop from either super hard Daybreak Province at the boss, or in super hard advanced quests from the end boss as well. More frequently off the rare version of the boss, but I understand that it can also drop off the regular version as well.
Yep. It's actually dropped on the regular version for a few people that I've run it with. Specifically the very hard exploration or super hard exploration. It's dropped, and I'm shocked by that sometimes.
Yep, and that seems to be a difference from the Japanese version, because I remember it only dropping from the rare boss in that version.
Interesting.
All right, and aside from the weapon badges, we also had another update from Sega this week, dealing specifically with the Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, what the monthly bonus recurring is going to be, essentially. And so with this, with your Ultimate Game Pass bonus on a monthly basis going forward, or at least that's what this seems to be implying, you're going to be getting 10 Tri-Boost plus 100%, 5 half-scape dolls, and 5 casino coin passes. And of course, this is very much reduced from what we originally got in that first month.
It's a massive downgrade.
Yep. And the thing of the matter is, players still need to get Xbox Live Gold in order to play on the Xbox One version.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's included with the Ultimate Game Pass. So
yep.
I don't see many people discontinuing that for the time being. I think it's like only a $1 difference between if you have the Game Pass versus not having it, and just Xbox Live Gold only.
Xbox Live Gold is $10 a month, and Game Pass Ultimate is $15 a month.
Okay, so it's a $5 reduction then.
Yep. But you can do $60 for Gold for a year, compared to Game Pass, where there's no reduction if you pay for more than 1 month.
So I was looking, and it looks like Amazon is actually doing a promotion right now where it's $45 for 6 months currently.
Oh, I should look into that. That's actually really good.
Yep. Yeah. So it's a deal I've seen a couple of places. I think I saw it on Kotaku. So yeah, definitely if you are a regular Xbox player, go ahead and take advantage of that if you can. I don't know if it's something that. Go ahead.
I'm not a regular Xbox player, but with PSO2, it's convinced me to continue playing on my Xbox, because hey, the Ultimate's actually really good, and yeah, I don't see the current deal for Game Pass Ultimate.
I'll see if I can link you after the show.
Okay.
All right. So let's go ahead and move into one of the other main topics that we had for today. Essentially, know your NPC and the type of client orders that is given as part of that. So, or rather, the type of client orders that they will give you. So, if we come over here, the first one that we have up is Oza here. Now, Oza is your hunter and fighter trainer, and so all the client orders that they have are associated with helping you to power up your hunter and fighter classes. So that's going to include, as part of that, a set of client orders. And Zance, did you want to talk about these client orders regarding the skill points?
Yes. Every class client order, giver, person, NPC, I don't know what they're called, but they all give client orders that after you finish them, they give you skill points. There's 2 of them which require you to kill specific bosses, and that will give you 5 skill points for each of those 2. After you reach level cap, then you need to trade in class X cubes to them, 10 of them specifically, for 4 different client orders. So it goes from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, so 10, and that will give you 4 additional skill points. Yeah, it's kind of important, because by the end of by the time that you reach level 75, you'll have 75 skill points. You get the other 14 by doing these client orders. And when it comes to Hunter, it has a Pokemon reference as those 2 client orders. It's I I want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
I noticed that as well back during the early days of the open beta here, or actually no, maybe even back during the closed beta. Now that I think about it, but the way that you get your class X cubes is you over level that class to essentially what the next level would have been.
Yep.
That will give you a single of the class X cubes. So you need to over level 10 times to get all the class X cubes that you're going to need. Now, something else I'll also note is once the higher level caps come into the game, around 85 and then 90, the number of class X cubes you're going to get per level is going to increase. First to 5, I believe, at 85, and then 7 at level 90.
Oh, you get 7 at level 90. Oh, wow.
I believe so. It used to be back in the day, if you were like level... back during the old level, I think it was 40 cap, you could also do class leveling, or not class leveling. You could over level at that time, and it would give you regular X cubes. But it was like worth it to have an alt that you did not break the level cap on.
Huh. Oh, wait, why is that?
Because you would get basically you would get X cubes much faster that way.
Oh, okay. But then they made an update to where you have to increase the level cap.
Right.
They made the cap 75.
Right.
That's weird that they jumped from cap of 30 to cap to 40, and then cap of 75.
Yeah, it was. They just went several years without making any new client order cap missions come up. It was just sort of implied that, okay, you were going to automatically get it, and then once the transition from 75 to 80 happened, that was when you had to do this whole rigmarole of you need to have
get
completed
one
all
13
of those.
Star. You have to get a 13-star weapon to plus 35 that's equipable by your class. And then the cap from 80 to 85 was having 3 units that were 3 12-star units that was all grinded to plus 10.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah, those were not exactly the funnest thing to do if you weren't already there.
Yep. And then in JP they still have the cap of 30 and 40, but then after that you can just go straight to the current cap of 95.
Yep.
Also,
right,
I do find it funny how they raised the cap from 80 to 85, except for Hero during the time, because Hero was so busted. And even during that, Hero was still busted.
Yep. Yeah, those were good times, but at least, hopefully with this being on the episode 6 client, we won't be seeing that when Hero first releases with episode 5.
Oh yeah, because it's going to be much more balanced. But even then, they never nerfed Hero, they just buffed everyone else.
Yep. Alright, moving on to the next NPC here, we've got Marlu. So, Xanth, you want to take her?
She's the Force person, right?
Correct.
Let me, I actually have the game up right now, so I'm moving over to her.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, she gives client orders for Force and Tector. Tector.
Yep, she is another of the class trainers.
It's going to be starting with Force, but after you do the Force ones, then the ones for Tector open up.
Yep.
I haven't done her client orders on my main character because I'm not a Force, so I can't see the if they did a pun for those ones specifically, for the ones that give skill points.
I think they did, but I unfortunately I don't have the client open myself right now to look. Let's see. Moving on, we also have Risa. So Risa is going to be your Ranger and Gunner class trainer.
Yes, and she loves to kill.
Indeed. Along with these mysterious red and blue eyes that come up from time to time. But the important thing is, this context is, once again, she has 14 skill points to give you through client orders as well. And then, along with Risa, we also have Azanami.
Oh, Azanami.
Yep,
I actually don't know about her.
Azanami is your Braver trainer.
Oh, that's braver. Okay.
Yep. So we're pretty much just going through all the class trainers right now. Azanami, and then we have Katori here. Katori is one of your 2 bouncer trainers. Katori.
Why is there 2?
Say again?
I never understood with bouncer. Why is there 2 different trainers?
I never quite got that as well. I think Sega was trying to do like some sort of a well, at least in terms of their client orders, Katori is the one that you use for your soaring blades, and then the other, the other Saga here is the one for your jet boots.
Now you do need to do client orders from both of them because both of them have different ones for bouncer. Now, obviously, I've done these. For Katori, it's the quest, Let's See You Bounce. Yep, and Saga is bouncing like you mean it.
Yep, so once again, making a pun off the class name there. And then we got one more class trainer, Pietro.
He's the summoner, and any cutscene that he's in the story, he has his pets beat him up.
Indeed, although nobody's actually had a chance to see that yet in the North American version. Pietro was added during episode 4, but because we're dealing with...
Added.
Yep. So basically, he's just kind of standing around, and kind of the joke that was being made back when he first released was because of a certain character effectively ending dead, people were making the joke that that character had turned into Pietro, and his pets were essentially beating up on him as sort of retribution of what had happened in the past. And I'm not going to say who it was because that's a huge spoiler for anybody that hasn't seen it before.
But I do remember seeing new content that was coming out in JP. They were showing some of the new story cutscenes. They showed a cutscene involving Pietro getting beaten up by one of its pets.
Yeah, I think the most recent one was for the Redren pet, which I believe is actually the last of the original pets.
It was hilarious to watch. I'll just say that. Anytime that he has a cutscene when episode 4 comes out, you have to watch his cutscenes because they're just so hilarious.
I completely agree. Yeah, highly recommended. All right.
Even though episode 4 is just a bit too meta for me. Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that when that releases.
Yep.
So, moving on from our class trainers now, we have Lavir. Now, Lavir is the NPC that is going to deal with your fall spawn specific client orders. So, basically, anytime you're dealing with fall spawn, say you're headed into, like, the ruins, or headed into the darker nest, you want to visit her and see what client orders they have to give you for taking out fall spawn, because that experience does stack up.
For the Crawler's Nest, either you go there through the urgent quest, why is the name slipping me all of a sudden?
Cradle of Darkness?
Cradle of Darkness, yeah. Either you do it through that, or any time trial you do can randomly end up being Crawler's Nest.
Yep, that is... I haven't had it happen to me yet, but basically if you get repeatedly S ranks in either very hard or super hard difficulty, you will be what is effectively kidnapped by the fall spawn. Again, it's random, and some people will sometimes intentionally try to trigger this by reloading the same time attack over and over and over. But effectively, your account needs to be flagged first, and you get flagged by running a bunch of time attacks over and over and over.
Plus, it's useful to do them because there is actually a leaderboard for that in game.
Yep.
I think for the first one, the various beginner.
Yeah, I think I placed for the last one last week at like rank 13 or so for the solo Lilipo one. So you get fun and star gems from that.
Yeah, and the star gems is the biggest thing.
Yep. All right. Aside from Lavir, on the other side of the ARKS gateway area, you have Hans.
Heyo. Bye.
Yep. So what kind of client orders does Hans have there?
It's mostly just enemy elimination in specific areas. It would be in the like groups of 60 and then super hard difficulty 70 of a specific enemy group that is just in one area. So it'll say forest only or volcano only. It'll be normal enemies, one of the random bosses that can spawn, and then the main boss at the end.
Yep. And
now, these aren't that useful to use during endgame, but during beginner, when you're trying to get any kind of experience points, do these, because that's a good amount of experience points early on.
Yep. Some of them go upwards of 30,000 experience points.
Yeah.
And then something else I should note is he also has a set for Nightfall Province. That's basically the only way for you to currently get the Chandra Astrocyte, which you can trade in for other items as well up in the shopping area. It's actually a holdover from the Japanese version, and I'm kind of surprised that they left those on him.
Interesting.
All right, up next we have Troto. Troto is your time attack client order guy. So anytime you're he used to be called the Sugar Daddy, but no longer. He used to give everybody a daily allowance of 500,000 Meseta, but that was taken away from him a couple of years ago, and so now.
And it was like a daily allowance of 500,000, but also a weekly of 1.5 or 1.6. So.
Yeah, they made one adjustment to him to try to make it so that you only had to run those weekly, and then they adjusted it again. More recently, so now he doesn't give you that much Meseta anymore. He's effectively broke, but you still kind of need to run some of these occasionally so that you can get him as an NPC partner.
Yep. But yeah, that was the thing. You had to run the tacos. Taco Tuesdays.
Yep. Alright. Up next we got Barbara. Do you remember who Barbara was?
She's more of the advanced things. Basically, you do things under specific stipulation and have to get S rank under a certain time, if I remember correctly.
Yes, she is involved with time attack, specifically the Dragon Altar time attack, and she expects you to clear those missions using the secondary classes. Originally in the game, you had Hunter. Yeah, exactly. Originally in the game, you just had Hunter, Ranger, Force. Then she came along when Fighter, Gunner, and Tector came along.
That was in episode 2. And these, oh my, like Fighter Boot Camp 1, 50,000 Meseta, 100,000 experience points, and you have to do it on normal or higher. That's really good.
Agreed. For a client order like that, I would actually say save them until we're just before a level cap increase is going to happen, and then just go ahead and complete them, hold them until the next maintenance, and go ahead and use them once the cap increases.
Yep.
And actually, Barbara was actually added, I think, during episode 1, actually, when the Tundra came out.
But she didn't give client orders until the other classes came out.
Right. They all came out like after one of the first patches when the PSO2 Japanese version released.
Okay.
Okay. Up next, we have Joseph here. Now, Joseph is more for your traditional classes, the Hunter, Force, and Ranger. Very similar in style. And his client orders also give you 100,000 experience point as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that pretty much takes care of all of the NPCs that'll give you client orders on this floor, aside from a couple more that we'll address shortly. But for now, let's head into the shopping center, and let's take a look at Amelin here. Now, do you remember what Amelin does?
He's you go to a specific area that has a weather effect.
Correct.
And you get some My Room decorations.
Yep. Yeah, the effects can be kind of rare. You sometimes have to stay in an area for quite some time before it actually happens. But for example, in the forest, I believe you need to find like a rainbow in order to get it to trigger, and it's you just have to be out on the field when it's happening. You don't need to be that close to it, as far as I'm aware. And next to Amelin, you are also going to find Gerard. Now, Gerard deals with your rare enemies. So anytime you're coming across like a red-toned fall spawn, or you're looking at, say, a Rappy, or you're looking at Niao, or you're looking at a different colored boss. For example, how the Big Varda has a blue variant of itself called a King Varda. You have client orders that Gerard wants you to take out the rare version of that boss in order to actually get clearance of the client order. And it's kind of funny. Back in the day, it used to be if you ran into one of those rare bosses, you would not get credit for taking out the regular version of the boss.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, so imagine you're trying to find a rock bear back in the day when it used to be the boss of the forest. You just ran to the end, and
no,
instead of a rock bear
belt shows up.
exactly, and you're like, there goes 3 minutes.
But I was actually wondering where people were getting the Rappy figurines. Now I see. But the rest of the stuff is just you get grinders.
Yep. And if you're in need of finding a rock bear at any point, the first time attack in the forest, just head west, and there's a rock bear right there. All right. After Gerard, we have Io.
I actually did run over to her to see what she does. You do perfect attacks against enemies to complete these client orders, and she also has the party maneuver client orders. Basically, be in a party and clear a quest.
Yep.
That's it.
And Io is also technically supposed to be another trainer for the Braver class, except she isn't. But in game, or rather in the story, she's always helping out all the other class trainers, and then she also calls you senpai.
Yeah. It's just master in NA, but
yep,
it's funny with. I don't know. I'm a stupid gaijin, so, or as I like to call myself, a baka gaijin. So when it comes to Japanese formalities, it always sounds weird to me. But again, I'm a baka gaijin. It will always sound weird.
Gotcha. All right, up next we have Rupert. And do you remember who Rupert is?
No.
So Rupert deals specifically with taking out enemies that have breakable parts. So, say you're dealing with a Forteran, one of his client orders asks you to destroy the Forteran's right horn first, before you then take out the Forteran itself. And you do want to complete some of these client orders, because he's one of those secret unlockable NPCs once you do a set number of client orders for him. And then next to Rupert, we have Lottie.
I ran over to her to see. Deals with defeating certain characters that are corrupted.
Yep.
So it's those little corruption things, either like that red ball that's on that character, or like this winged thing. That means they're corrupted.
Yep. And also, just to note, not featured in this list, but of note is also Jan, who is right behind them. He has to deal more with some of the early functions in the game. I didn't include him because he's a part of the ARKS mission system, but basically he has you go through like upgrading your weapons, augmenting your weapons, doing an auto chat thing, and things like that.
Yep, he's a tutorial client order guy.
pretty
like
much.
Athen.
All right. After Lottie, of course, we have Cressida. Now, Cressida has actually a mix of different client orders here. Cressida will have you do a combination of going to various areas and getting S ranks in them.
In a certain amount of time.
Yep. In addition to that, she also has client orders where she asks you to find different items that will drop off the enemies in the areas as well. So, for example, if you're headed to, say, Amduskia, she has a client order where she'll have you collect a bunch of stones from the area.
And yeah, like there's Procure, Round Pebble, Slippery Stone, Ice Rock Fragment, and Round Lava Rock.
Yep. And each has different requirements. Cressida is going to unlock once you hit level 21. And then aside from Cressida, to the right of her, we have everybody's favorite chef, Franca.
Yes, the client orders that if you have the material storage and automatic material pickup, you'll pick up way more than you actually need for these client orders.
Indeed. But she is such a fun character. From all the different little lines that she has to say. Like I remember, I was handing in a veal Maduna's meat once, and she was like, "Is this even edible?" Okay, I'll try to cook it up. So, and the fact of the matter is, that she also has her own little cafe, which is directly to the left of her. And inside that cafe is our next NPC, Sophia.
You only do a few client orders for it, but it's a good tutorial on the gathering, the culinarian, which is named Ida, which is kind of funny because that's also the name of the person who runs Phantasy Star Fleet.
Yep.
Ida got herself in the game! Yay!
Yep. Ida also being known as sort of the master project leader of ARKS Lair, who created the Japanese English patch.
Yep.
Sophia also deals with helping with the creation of rings as well.
Yeah, you do her client orders as part of the ARKS missions.
Yep. And then next to her, we have the current sugar daddy, Yerks.
That is 500,000 Meseta every single week if you do gathering in all the 5 major areas. Do them.
Yep.
And you could do that with every character. So do them.
Correct. And it's going to increase to 6 once episode 4 comes out.
Mm-hmm. So do them.
Yep.
Go do your harvesting. Because that's how you get those items. You do harvesting. So what I do for gathering is I do fishing. I get a fever, go right to harvesting. If I run out of stamina, spend the 10 SG to do it more until the fever runs out.
Yeah,
I do that once for all my characters.
I tend to see where my fishing stamina is at that point, because if I still got some left over, like I got an early fever, then I might switch back over to fishing for the last bit.
Okay. Sometimes I'll do it just where I want to do harvesting, just so I can get specific items. But yeah, I'll do that as well on some characters that I don't want to spend 50 SG today. I'll just do spend all the stamina. So I get near the end of the fever. Oh, level up! Great.
Yep. You're not going to encounter that many level ups once you get to level 25, though.
Yeah. That's when the achievements start to dry up.
Yep. Alright, so let's make our way back down to the gate area now. And up next we have Fina here, who is your daily order officer.
Do these.
Do them.
Yeah, so there are specific ones that involve the current top recommended quest. You want to do those 3 because that increases a daily boost. Basically, once that's filled up, that's a 50% try boost that you have until that starts to slowly decrease. But you can keep it increased by doing those client orders. If you have premium, then you can overcap it to 15. So if you don't play for 5 days, you'll still have the 50% try boost.
Yep, that's basically the main reason you want to do these. She also has other client orders which have various objectives from
Kill Bar Lotus on super hard difficulty, you get 250,000 Meseta.
Indeed. And then there are others that are like between 90 to 130,000 or so. Plus she also has certain client orders that will stack up to 99, whether it be you need to collect 99 of a certain thing. Although for harvesting and fishing, I think it goes up to 999. And then there are also certain enemy defeat ones that also go up to 99. Again, good ones to kind of stack up as we're going into a level cap increase, and just turn them all in once the level cap actually does move up to the next step. And then the last person on the list here is Coffee. Now, Coffee is the person you're going to speak to anytime there's a new feature added into the game, whether it be you have your Scion classes out, your Hero, your Phantom, your Étoile. Anytime you need to basically add additional functionality, such as whenever complex photon arts come out, you are going to speak to Coffee. Early on, you are going to get to know Coffee very, very well, because she's going to expand your sub-palette. She's going to be the person that helps you unlock different difficulties. And she does so much more, but you're typically only going to see her after a major patch has come out.
Also, one other person I want to mention that apparently you didn't mention here yet is the Alliance person. Right next to the class counter guy, you can talk to an NPC, which is mostly involving your current alliance. There are client orders you can do there, and they will give you a lot of alliance points. So say you want to help your alliance with getting the attack tree up. So you want to get your cap of alliance points for the week as soon as possible. Basically, everyone who is in your alliance can get 4,500 alliance points every single week. You get alliance points just by doing anything. Completing client orders, completing emergency quests that randomly pop up, finishing up a quest, playing in the casino. Yes, playing in the casino gives you alliance points. So if you're someone who just really loves the casino, you can easily cap just by wasting a lot of time in there. You get 3 alliance points every single time you spin in the slots, and 10 every time you play a round of Blackjack. Did you know about that?
Yeah, I did. I believe it's like 5 alliance points per spin of the rapid slots.
Yeah, so it's extremely easy to cap out on alliance points. Just do it. Help your alliance out. Exactly.
And speaking of alliances, anybody that is unaware, late last weekend, Silver Dragons did merge into Time for War.
Yep.
And I once again did want to thank you once again, Xantz, for kind of trusting me to kind of take over your group there.
Yeah, no problem. It was starting to die out anyway, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be much more active once PC is out, especially when it comes to chat, because chatting on Xbox is not that great. And segueing into that, let's talk about roadmap issues and PC launch stuff.
Indeed. So, floor is pretty much yours, Xantz. Go for it.
I hate that there's not much news about PC. I know they're still saying that's going to be the spring 2020 release. We're still in spring. But God, I want it so bad. Yes, I have an Xbox. I can easily play on it. But it's cumbersome for me to set up an keyboard and mouse with it. I have 2 monitors. But with my monitor, I only have 1 HDMI, so I have to constantly swap it out with my Xbox if I want to play on there, and swap out my keyboard and mouse if I want to play the most optimal way with this game. And even then, when it comes to most people being on Xbox, they don't have keyboard plugged in. So chatting with people is also cumbersome, because chatting with just an Xbox controller is so slow.
Yep. And I've also noticed whenever I'm trying to just use my controller and I need to put something in, if I've got my keyboard and mouse plugged in, but I'm just not touching them at the time, there's like a glitch that'll happen whereby the soft keyboard won't work correctly.
And then there's the whole issue of always having to have the controller on.
Yep.
Why? I have a keyboard and mouse plugged in. Why do I need to keep the controller on?
I think that's actually a Microsoft policy that's doing that. And last week or the week before, I submitted a ticket as a suggestion to the development team to ask that they add a keep awake function to the controller, so maybe like vibrate it every 5 minutes or something like that, just so it stays awake. Because I was reading, and it looks like that's actually something that Microsoft requires across all games, not just on the PSO2.
That's annoying.
I completely agree.
Yep, more reason why I want the PC version. Because, I don't know, just playing on a console that's not the Switch right now, it's really just not that motivating to get on it. But along with the motivation is the lack of a roadmap of how they're going to release content. I want to know when new stuff is going to be coming out in North America so that we can start to get up to parity with JP. Because there's going to be a major update come the end of this year. It's not going to be episode 7, but they said it's going to be something major.
Yep.
So I want to be able, and they even promised during the E3 trailer all the content. How long are we going to have to wait to get to all the content?
I think part of it comes down to the fact that it did take them some time to at least record all the lines for episodes 1 to 3, so they have to call all those voice actors back in to now do episode 4 to 6.
True.
Plus, they actually have to source for a whole bunch of new actors for those episodes as well.
Oh yeah, because of the two main characters, that one girl and her player
brother
and her character.
Yep, and then
their names. What are their names?
Itsuki.
Itsuki, yeah, Itsuki. Yeah, I remember about her. That was this. Yeah, the shower scene.
Yeah, that's
gonna be interesting. Episode 4. It is. I like watching some of these cutscenes because they're so stupid, but again, it's just so meta in the sense, like, oh yeah, Earth is the place where these people play Phantasy Star Online 2. So yeah, this game is a game. Okay, but it's also not a game because stuff starts to happen involving phantoms.
Yeah, and there's a whole plot hole in the fact that apparently nobody ever references any of the rest of the Phantasy Star series in those episodes. But I don't think I want to say too much more beyond that, because that technically is reaching into spoiler territory. But anybody that is at least familiar with the original animation that came out several years ago, and even before episode 4 started, knew that something was going to be happening related to Earth.
Oh god, PSO2 the animation. Let me hit random. Oh wow, that looks just like me.
Yep. That was an interesting thing.
I'm sorry. After that happened in the first episode, it was hard for me to watch the rest of it.
I know, it's like the first half of that season is just Pusoni.
It basically is Pusoni. You're right.
Pusoni, if anybody is unfamiliar with, is a comic or manga series produced over in Japan, but it has also gotten its own animation now. It just started its 2nd season.
Yep, and it airs on the Phantasy Star YouTube channel.
Yep,
and they even played it in game. Like, I remember, they're showing the first 6 episodes in game. That was actually pretty funny to walk through the stage and watch the episodes with people.
Would not surprise me if we get anything like that over here as well.
Oh, we get an English version of Puso ni? Oh my god, that would be both awesome and horrifying.
I don't know if we would get Puso ni, but I would say we're probably going to at least like get some of the fan content contests that happen at the very least, like the occasional what was it? Every year Sega does like this art and video competition, and that gets presented both on the screens, and over in Japan they also have these fan meetups. I made a post on the forums long ago that asking if those were going to be happening, and Sega unfortunately hasn't said anything yet.
Okay. And oh yeah, those fan art things, they actually do become rewards in game through the Fun Scratch. It's actually pretty cool.
Yep.
But yeah, I just want that PC version out right now. And plus, again, I also want that roadmap of content coming out. I want to know what I want to work towards so that I'm ready for the next bit of content coming out. 'Cause I don't know when things are going to be coming out. Is there going to be maintenance this Tuesday or not? I don't know. They usually do a maintenance every 2 weeks. It's every other week they do a maintenance. Since they didn't do one on last Tuesday, they're probably going to do one this Tuesday, but they haven't said anything.
Yep, it's funny that they skipped it this week, and actually it's every week that they do it, but there's new content releases every 2 weeks, I believe.
I don't remember being in every week. I thought it was every 2 weeks. I don't know, probably because of the current situations going on, it's causing a lag of new content starting to come out. Because I know with Final Fantasy 14, they're delaying patch 5.3 due to current issues.
Yep. But the other thing I will note of that is, so far Sega hasn't said anything related to that for the North American version of PSO2. So the hope at this point is that nothing has actually changed related to that. So all we can do now is just kind of hope that it still stays like that, and that they're going to get the PC version out sometime this spring. But it was just last week that once again they reiterated that it is still happening.
Also, I think the stream died.
Yep, I see that as well. Not quite sure what happened here. Let me see if I can reconnect it. Let's see. One moment.
Okay. You're at least recording these, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Let's see. Stream.
Uh-oh. Disconnection.
Yep, 1 second. I'm going to send this to a different location. Let's send this to Dallas. Start streaming. Okay, are we back?
We are back.
All right.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So I've been sending my I send my signal to the Atlanta data center. So something apparently just happened there. So it's going to Texas now.
Oh, fun.
So. But yeah, I saw that as this was happening as well here. But essentially, it's just going to be a matter of time now until we actually find out. I'm really hoping that I completely agree. We need some kind of roadmap as to when things are happening. First, we need to know when the open beta is actually ending, because this open beta is actually going on much longer than I think anybody ever anticipated it would. But at the same time, as I mentioned last week during the solo show, there have been some improvements made along the way. I'm no longer noticing the stuttering of the game when I reconnect my controller if it turns off. And then another person mentioned that the phrasing of how Extreme Quest stage orders has changed as well. So they're definitely making changes. It was also passed along on a forum post, or one of the GMs noted that they passed along to the developers how a certain character was talking during their scenes towards the end of episode 2 didn't really line up with the original Japanese version, speaking about the lack of the Akashic record in any of their lines. So, yeah, definitely, there are changes being made that people are noticing.
Give us
and
patch notes!
That's a note I asked for as well last night, or last week rather.
Mm-hmm.
Can we at least get some patch notes that at least tells us what changed, what was fixed, so that we, as your player base who is participating in this open beta, can then retest and make sure it's working now.
Mm-hmm. Because JP gets patch notes every time there's some sort of patch.
Yep. And if there's like a major issue, Sega of Japan will at least tell us what went wrong and provide like some tri-boost or something for the downtime.
Yeah, it's. I know it's mostly Sega of Japan doing this, so their focus is currently split on both the JP and NA client. With the whole current world situation going on, I understand. It's just, I just wish there was a little bit of better communication with the NA crowd.
Yep. The only thing that I could figure out that might explain why we went 2 weeks without a maintenance here is the fact that every year in Japan there's a week-long period where all of Japan essentially goes on holiday, or goes on like some sort of a break called Golden Week.
Oh,
and
yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, Golden Week. I know about that.
Yep, and during that time, typically there is not a maintenance for the Japanese version.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing I could think of that they might.
That
be
happened
testing
recently in Japan, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so it combines like 3 or 4 holidays all together at one time.
Wait, no, it's going to happen later in April, the 29th of April.
Okay.
To May 6th.
Yeah, so I guess if anything, let's hope that they get the PC version out before that week, or else we're going to have another 2 weeks that we're waiting without any news.
Yeah. Honestly, the PC version during Golden Week, we'll get a bunch of Japanese people hopping in the North American version. That would actually be pretty cool.
Yep. I do look forward to when all the PC players do finally come in, because I'm expecting our player base is going to go up by about 4 times, if not more than that.
And I also expect our Alliance chat to be a lot more lively, because right now it's pretty much dead, because, like I said, typing on Xbox is very inconvenient.
Yep. Yep. It's,
God, I hear Jesus.
I get why they did it on the Xbox One first, but yeah, I wish they could have released both of them at the same time for beta.
Mm-hmm. Well, they even said, like, we're excited to welcome our PC players. When? I'm starting to sound like Zero. When is the PC coming out, Sega?
Well, we'll see. We'll see when Sega finally does decide to say something. The next opportunity is going to be this week, when we would expect the next maintenance to happen. Hopefully, we're not going to go 3 weeks without a maintenance here.
Hopefully not. Like I said, I hope there's like some sort of maintenance on Tuesday, along with info of what's going to be coming out.
Yep, and maybe even some new content at that.
Yes, give us the battle arena, please. I want to fight people with better ping. I think that was why I didn't like doing PvP in JP, was because the ping was awful.
Yep. Although we technically don't know where the servers are actually located for the North American version.
I just know that the ping has been a lot better on NA than it has been on JP. So.
Yep. Alright, was there anything else you wanted to bring up today?
Not that I can think of. I got my rant out.
Well, hopefully this won't become a weekly thing here, where we're just constantly having to say the same thing over and over. Hopefully we do actually start to hear some news soon, at least in terms of new content, if not the PC version. But yeah, so that will bring us to the end of this episode. On behalf of Xance and myself, thank you for joining us today. Day has dawned. Have a great day, everyone.
See ya.